Going to be a household name, I reckon. Sort of perfect name for poker, right? Chase Bricker.
Yeah.
Brick Chaser.
Yeah.
You do a lot with that name, and you know we know from history having a good poker name, Moneymaker, Gold. It adds something.
Apparently, Jamie Gold, Moneymaker. Yeah, we're on to something here. I think I need to change my name is what I'm learning.
There's about a 90% chance.
Ashley River Hitter.
Yeah.
100% chance.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm gonna submit that soon.
At that point, maybe not the best.
I had 3 high.
Shit. This guy probably was going to win.
Small blind versus
1.5
big
million
blind
in
here.
chips if you decide you weren't going to fuck
Jack
around.
9-8 2 diamonds. Eric checks it over to Tim. Tim was 7 high. Checks it back. Tim now upgrades to a baby straight. And the king high checks it over once again. Tim probably going to try and squeak out some value depending on rivers. Kind of a fun river if you're Eric. Do have the king of clubs. Although can't rep much. But imagine this gets called fairly quickly. He's losing to flushes, of course, and queen. No betting till the river. And he's gonna make the call and take the pot down.
Yeah, cheeky little bluff there from Eric.
Yeah, Tim's check on the turn gets him paid on the river.
Online poker is back in America. No purchase necessary. Play online poker for cash prizes with players across the U.S. Sit next to your favorite ambassadors like Phil Ivey, Brad Owen, Rampage, Wolfgang, and the rest of the WPT crew. Play tournaments and ring games to win real prizes and experiences, including free entries into next-level poker events in Las Vegas. Sign up at clubwptgold.com with promo code YouTube.
Ever so slightly up. Obviously, we're kind of enjoying an almost concertina effect with the ICM at the moment, where there, is a general rising ICM relevance to everything, but it sort of peaks ever so slightly right before a ladder jump and then drops back down again.
Right.
And we do have a ladder at 79.
Say what time it is around that board? No.
That's probably
No, we came
an
back
orbit
at
away.
8:15, so it's like a little after 9.
They delayed it a little bit too.
9:10 maybe, or 9 something.
Folds around to Mark. 9-7 of diamonds on the button. He limps. All right, Mark mixing in some limps from the button. We were just talking about balance. If you're going to do that with mergy hands, you also got to do it with some of your strong ones. I mean, you don't have to, but we shall see. Mark limps the button. See a flop of ace, jack, ace, 2 spades. Eric flops a nice hand, a pair of jacks. Mark now going to bet in position 65,000. Eric not going anywhere, of course. 8 of spades on the turn. Eric does have the queen of spades. Now Mark out in no man's land with just 9 high. Does pick up some equity though with that gutter. Can imagine that might be enough for him to assert his aggression and continue. 250 is the bet.
Yeah, target hand right now, I guess, is a weak jack. You're trying to shake. If Mark is going to fire this turn barrel, I'd prefer to see a larger sizing. But he's gone with 250, and he's going to make life a little uncomfortable for Eric, obviously, with that backup equity of the queen of spades in the hand, going nowhere right now. Can Mark tell this 3-street story? And would Eric even believe it if he did?
And remember, Mark limped the button pre.
Sliver of showdown for Mark, but I think realises his hand will not be good. Queen 10, remember, also a very strong possibility in this situation. Turns into a double gutter, particularly if it has a spade in hand as well. So that hand is obviously winning. He does shut down, probably wise on balance. If you are going to go for the super aggressive line there, I think he has to go overbet, turn river in his betting construction.
Only a million?
Probably bet it on a college basketball game.
He meant 3 million, by the way. He didn't want to insult you.
I did notice he said 1
Yeah,
million.
no.
I think that's for 4th place or something.
Yeah,
I said 3 million.
Oh, you said 3? I thought you said 1
not
million.
3. No, you're getting first.
Okay.
Right? He's getting first?
Dang. It's all programmed, all set up.
William, Queen Jack of Hearts.
I always wonder if reality TV was scripted or not. This is like scripted reality TV.
It's your turn, Mark.
Oh, scripted.
Folds.
I think like 90 Day Fiance is scripted.
I don't even know what that show is.
A lot of those reality shows are scripted,
most
right? I
Watch
think I've heard that.
TV franchise in the
Holds
history
around a
of
Tim in the small blind.
They have like 10 different, they have like 10 different versions.
Andrew, ace deuce off, gonna defend.
Like Love is Blind.
Yeah. It's like,
You ever watch Love is Blind?
yeah, I've watched that.
I haven't watched it, but I have a very close friend who loves that show, and it is very hard to get her to not talk
No, I
about
made
it.
her.
Well, we don't have to talk about
Kristen
it.
watched it before.
Here we see a flop of King, Queen, 10, 2 spades. Now, Andrew hits his pair, but William now with the nut straight. The jack. Andrew's hand. Very.
Oh, trappy here from William, possibly recognising that he was unlikely to get more than 1 street of value.
Yeah, and Andrew's hand, a bluff catcher, of course. The 4-liner out there.
I think he will get paid now. William,
With that 10 pairing.
I think this is a nice line from William, I've got to say. And I think there's a very, very strong chance that Andrew will pay this off. Obviously, playing the king kicker. Can chop with quite a bit. And of course, could be ahead.
Yeah, I could be ahead of some hands here.
Oh, great
That's a little
fold.
Fold.
Very canny fold from Andrew there.
Indeed.
Take a bow, saving those 200,000 chips.
Played that
Chip
hand.
saves are chips
it's
won
about
after
seconds.
all.
Absolutely.
We played till like 7, 8 a.m. and
It's
we
like
were
a
back by like 11.
It was like a Bobby Knight special.
I had like 3 hours sleep. Finally trapped Hun Lee, the kamikaze kid with pocket aces. He had a flush draw. He hit it, started screaming up and down. So I got chair. And Vince goes, "Put the chair down, Mark. You're gonna hurt somebody."
What is this story?
That's a story. Poker, a game of mental and emotional toughness. Easy to get frustrated. Things aren't going your way.
I feel like
Emotions
standing
fly
up
high.
might be easier.
It like creates an
10, 10, 9. A little interesting here. Open-ended for Robert. Gutter and back doors for Mark.
I remember
Check, check. 3 of hearts on the turn.
There was one up by the river.
I think that Robert can go bet here and get a lot of hands fold. Check calling also reasonable still. This open ender. Mark gonna take a stab at this, 150,000.
8, the disaster card here. Don't feel as though Robert can go anywhere to this size, but maybe he can turn it into a semi-bluff.
Yeah, you could do that as well.
I like the call. I think that's much more standard.
Sure. To the river we go, 4 of spades.
No 8. I wanted blood.
That would have been blood. Indeed, but no. A small bet here. It's kind of targeting hands like 7-6 suited.
This is very cute procedures from Robert.
Yeah.
Recognizing that he could get maybe a hand, a king high perhaps, to fold in this spot.
Mark posturing like he's going to put in a raise.
Wow.
And he does.
So finding himself at bottom of range and what looks like a blocker bet. Robert clearly giving consideration to raising once more. Not too much of it though.
Wow. Nice play by Mark. Can't win unless you raise.
Online poker is back in America. No purchase necessary. Play online poker for cash prizes with players across the U.S. Sit next to your favorite ambassadors like Phil Ivey, Brad Owen, Rampage, Wolfgang, and the rest of the WPT crew. Play tournaments and ring games to win real prizes and experiences, including free entries into next-level poker events in Las Vegas. Sign up at clubwptgold.com with promo code YouTube.
2 buy-ins for this tournament for ladies who would submit videos to her.
Wow.
In the sort of week leading up to this tournament, this great tournament. And one of those was won by a good pal of mine, actually, Delia De Jong, who
Oh, nice.
played in her first ever 10K.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Her husband, Maddie Mulhuisen, actually managed to make the money in this one. He bust around about 150th, something like that.
Okay.
Last table it took us 2
Well,
over.
that's very generous of Nadia. Love that she's trying to grow the game and support females in poker. Such an amazing thing.
Like that?
Even if I bust.
It's on me?
Yeah, the other notch on
Oh
her
my God,
resume,
I'm
of
so
course,
sorry.
is she's the coach for the big game for those, what do they call them, loose cannons,
cannons, yeah.
on the big game. Last year, Nikki Limo
Yes.
and
my
Lily
friend
Newhouse provided loads of entertainment. Actually, they were great shows, it must be said.
Yeah.
And yeah, Nadia was sort of in their corner, if you like.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right, raise 125.
Jeremy on the button, ace-9 off. And then Frank, who has just been crushing this year. He is a force to be reckoned with. He is in a small blind with ace-queen offsuit.
450.
Re-raise 450. Fold.
3 bets it to 450,000.
Not sure what to do with my hands.
This is an awkward one for Jeremy.
Car, hand roll.
Ace-9 could make its way into the middle if you think your opponent is 3-betting wide here.
Players all in.
All in! Frank calls. Wow.
Where I see
I got him covered. So.
I still look like danger zone for
Misstep from Jeremy. You can understand
Sure.
where he was going. Obviously, Frank, such a canny player, would find a lot of these sort of ace blocker, king blocker 3-bets in that situation.
Absolutely.
He'd have some raise folds. Jeremy does have a pretty nice hand in ace-9 right now, but of course it is dominated by the ace-queen of Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of a collision. Button versus small blind. Both players seemingly going to have a lot of
Yep, there's that.
middle of the road hands, but both players with an ace. In this case, and Jeremy, 24%.
I was going to say something, but
First hand, all-in
Yeah.
situation.
yeah.
Good news for Frank, who is at risk here, is that if he does have his hand cracked, which we obviously hope doesn't happen to him, but if he does, he has managed that ladder jump. These guys now guaranteed 50 grand even.
Wow.
We laddered from 42k up to 50k
No, there are 3
once the 79th player, or actually once the 80th player was bust and we were down to 79.
The interaction was good,
Nice.
and no, you always do good stuff like that, so it's fun.
Here we go, little
She finally went over the 100.
grimace from Frank, obviously sweating this one pretty hard.
Big sweat here. 3 million up for grabs.
How do you feel about Jeremy being on his feet here?
Yeah, I don't know. Jack 10, 6, 2 clubs. Yeah, Jeremy not the one at risk, but he is standing. He's behind and needs some help.
Well, that's removed it out. That's the opposite of help,
Yep,
Ashley.
absolutely. So now 2 outs to this river. Frank survives and doubles up.
Yeah, you could just start the timer.
I think we have a little technical issue on the feature table. Sounds like some iPads need to be recharged. Nadia,
Just like a clock.
well, a practical lady, just making the suggestion to floor staff there that we just get an
Like you're using the 30 seconds.
any old iPhone and
or 20, whatever.
put the stop clock function on it and proceed from there.
Oh, I thought we had the.
Sparkle there, brother.
Obviously playing this 6th level, this unanticipated level. Maybe it puts a little bit of strain on the iPads.
Yeah,
Just
iPads are getting fatigued too. We're deep into day 3. This is a long tournament. So here we have a raise from June in the cutoff, pocket 5s. Frank defending ace-jack offsuit in the big blind.
yeah, noteworthy comes with just call here, Frank. Definitely one you can mix.
Yeah, absolutely. Frank probably perceived as somewhat of an aggressive player at this table, so I'd like to mix in some stronger calls, not always 3-bet them.
You beat some value right now. Frank doesn't have to necessarily put chips in this pot. June may look to do some equity denying now. Quite like a very small bet here. And I think Frank has to call with the ace-jack. He's played this in a sort of under-repped fashion. He could be ahead of some hands that do just look for equity denial here. Something like a ace-7 suited or an ace-10 maybe.
Yeah. I agree. Frank agrees too, as makes the call. Headed to a river. And Frank does get there.
And now, interesting spot for June, maybe thinking to himself, well, okay, I beat the 10 jack, that's fine. We're going to get to showdown against that one, but that maybe, just maybe, we need to attack an 8 here and use that ace, which is a very looming card. And he's very much told the story of someone who has a hand like ace, queen, ace, jack. In the end, does just surrender, and wisely so in this instance. But yeah, definitely could have used that ace, given the line he'd taken in the hand.
Yeah.
Rep that. Maybe push off something like a queen 8. Time bank chips
Yeah, like all the-
land for the remainder of the day, I guess. Maybe the entire tournament is going to just do that. I guess you've got to equalise it
Yeah.
throughout. So nobody will use up any time bank chips.
I'm gonna go tell him.
Could be a little awkward around pay jumps is the only
Frank, Why don't
thing.
you go walk to every table?
I'll go to the end of the stage.
We're gonna
I'll
be on a
shout
page
it
up
to
and someone, I'm
everybody.
just gonna stay here for like 7 minutes.
It actually kind of hurts because you were taking him on that, and now you're gonna feel bad. You're gonna feel like
I won't feel bad, don't worry.
What's that?
I won't feel
They
bad.
laugh, but that's exactly what could happen
The
here.
amount of money we give Frank to go to this edge and go, excuse me, I have an announcement for the tournament. We're no longer using the clocks. Just no floor verification, and just go over there and say it.
Isaac, queen 7 of spades, cut off.
I had a couple dogs.
Makes it 125 to go. Nadia in the big blind, suited ace 7.
Actually, three of them. Bruce. Yeah.
great name.
It's a great Pyrenees. What's that?
Queen 8-3, 1 diamond working for Nadia, but Isaac, top pair.
Yeah, unlucky here for Nadia. Obviously, a bit of domination rotation.
Howdy.
They bark outside.
She will
Like the possession property. He at our house.
possibly
Not
eye
royal,
up
like in, like
that backdoor diamond draw and the ace high in combination as defend worthy here for 85k.
Like I would later. Like if my wife and I have like
Yeah.
dinner and a show in the
Nothing
city,
wrong with this. We see she's well behind, but
but like
this does make
inside,
sense from
like,
Nadia.
Or like on a plane, he's been on 30 flights in his life. He's never barked once. You know?
Enough anyway.
10 of clubs.
Gonna be hard to bust the 8 seed.
Turn.
Actually,
I think that's
perfect.
Isaac can reasonably assume that there won't be too much 3x in Nadia's range here, so more likely she has an 8 or a queen. If she has a queen, it could be a better or worse one, so no harm to do a little bit of pot control on this street. Jack 9 also not a completely unreasonable holding for Nadia.
Yeah, I like to check with the queen. It's kind of, not the greatest. So you can mix in some checks and then evaluate river, get value. Or shut down if some scary cards come. Nadia feels like she needs to bet 275.
little black box.
Yeah, nice bit of pot control slash bluff induced there with that check back from Isaac on the turn. A neat and tidy play that has gotten the bluff out of Nadia on this occasion. She obviously was targeting some better ace-x to fold, maybe some small pairs to fold in that situation.
Yeah.